All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. This is always a wonderful time to share, and I'm glad that we get the community members that come in and learn more about the great things that we are doing over here in Duval County Public Schools. My name is Erin Conklin. I'm the director for K-12 Social Studies for Duval County, and I am excited to share some of this stuff that we work on with our students when we talk about celebrating African American history here in Jacksonville. So, just this wonderful quote here, just engaging children in our history of their city will give them the appreciation of the city they live in. And that's one of the things that we have seen. In a little bit, I'm going to talk about our African American History Summer program that we do. And this has really brought to life a lot of love and appreciation for Jacksonville and seeing some of the areas that we have that our students did not know about. And now we've been able to use those lessons and implement them in our classrooms for our students to see. So one of the first places that we like to engage our students with is, of course, Kingsley Plantation. And Kingsley Plantation is a great opportunity for students to see the life of what took place in a plantation living. And the National Park Service does a wonderful job giving tours, and many of our students love heading out here when we go out during the summer, except for sometimes it's a little warm and we have to bring lots of extra water bottles. Another one is Fort Caroline. We definitely also include this in there with our Native Americans, and we just want to make sure that students have this rich history of what took place. And that's also a lot of fun going into and looking with our students. One of our favorite places to visit, as you can see here, some great students as well, is the Ritz Theater. We actually do a lot of partnership with them and also providing professional development and trainings for our teachers and getting and encouraging them to bring their students as well. Um, of course, the Ritz is located in La Villa, and as they always say, La Villa is the Harlem of the South because this is where a lot of the arts and music came out of and then began to move up north due to Jim Crow. Another kind of hidden area is the St. Joseph Mission Schoolhouse for African American students. And this is located, I believe, in the Mandarin area. And the house continued to move, and it is located in the Walter Jones Historical Park. And it was to instruct students after the conclusion of the Civil War and giving African American students a chance for formal education. JP Smalls Park is another great area if you are looking for some rich African American history here in Jacksonville. Our students have been down there numerous times. They've got a great little museum, and we have had fun working with some of the NFL players and teaching them about what JP Smalls Park is, the Negro League and minor league baseball teams that played there, including Hank Aaron, and just knowing the history of Durkeeville in that area. It's been a great opportunity for students to really learn how this impacted a lot of history here. The Eartha M. White Museum is another, and the Clara White is another museum that partners with us. And we are able to bring our students there, and they're able to learn about these women and their philanthropic ideas and how they became this just wonderful mission of training and educating others. And the stories that come out and the information that our students take into their classrooms after they've been there has been wonderful. We've had students that have created different lessons and items for our other students to learn. And they do have a new museum director, so it is growing and becoming larger, which is also wonderful. Just some other areas of interest, and these aren't located here directly in Jacksonville, but of course, Fort Mose, Castillo de San Marco, Lincolnville Museum and Cultural Center, the Jimenez Facio House, and the St. Augustine Lighthouse. The Jimenez Facio House actually does a lot of work also with our teachers, and the same with Fort Mose. The Jimenez Facio House does have a new tour, and it's called We Live Here Too. They have reenactors, and they show about how the enslaved people, what they experienced and what happened. And our teachers are able to take away that experience and bring that into the classroom. And then they're also able to bring their students there, which is really great because that's what we want our students to be able to see, is just go in and be part of the history. The Castillo is the same way. There's a great, rich African American history, and a lot of people don't know it. But if you definitely get with the park rangers, they will give you wonderful tours, and they will explain to you about some of the civil rights movements that took place outside of the Castillo, and it kind of brings that history really into a focus for our students. So one of the biggest thing, and I mentioned it earlier, and that's why I want to come back to this, is our African American History Summer Writing Project. Our superintendent, Dr. Krisnar, at the time she was our deputy superintendent, really had this idea of bringing about a rich African American history to our students. One of the things that we kept hearing is a lot of our students did not feel they were getting enough local history. So we really wanted to figure out a way that we could bring it into our classrooms. We do teach an African American history course in high school, and we do have several middle schools that also teach the high school African American history course for eighth graders. And with this program, the summer project, we've been able to integrate lesson plans that our students have been writing into our curriculum guides, and then be able to make sure that we are getting all that local history out into our students' hands. We definitely offer it, like it says over here, to rising 10th through 12th graders. They must have transportation and at least a 2.5 GPA. And it is 3 weeks. Students, we involve every high school. There's a rigorous application where we ask different questions to see what students are interested in. They do receive a stipend, um, and now new due to the new state statute, they can also receive the volunteer hours as well. So they can receive both of them. At first, it was just either or. Um, but in order to receive that stipend, our students have to be there Monday through Thursday. They can't miss. Like, we tell them when they sign up, like, this is a job, like this is your job this summer. And it's just for 3 weeks. We usually start the beginning of June and end right at the end of June. And our students have a blast. It is a very packed 3 weeks. They work hard. Like I said in the video, they uh, learn information. We bring in professors from UNF, JU, Ed Waters, and they work with our students to show them research, to give them ideas. Then we also bring in we go to the main library and they learn how to actually do the research. I love the main library. They have been so very friendly and helpful with this program that when we give them their topics that they're researching, our students, they will actually have all the information and will pull that out for our students and have it ready to go for them. Um, then our teachers, we do have a group of teachers that help. We have about 10 teachers. The wonderful thing is that they're not all just social studies teachers. We have teachers that are ELA. We have a technology, as you saw, that help us put these videos together. We have an art teacher. The last 2 years, we've actually had a special education teacher and an elementary teacher so that we can create more lesson plans for our elementary and our special needs population. So we're trying to make sure everybody is included and not just 1 or 2. Uh, so this is a program that's for students that are rising 10th graders. So if your child is going into 10th grade next year, or if you're a student and you're going into 10th grade, we would love for you to be part of this. The applications usually come out in about April. We post them all over the place, so be on the lookout for that. And you can always email me and I can make sure to share it with you once we get it. Um, but it's a wonderful program. And in order to do these types of things, we couldn't do it just by ourselves. So we do, like I said, have some wonderful community partners, community and schools. They do help us with recruiting, they help us with the attendance, and they also provide our student stipends. Like I said, the University of North Florida, Ed Waters, they really help bring in some of those research skills. Last year we had FSCJ. They also stepped in and they've started creating a database based on what we've done so that students can see it and make it a little easier to do their research. We also partner with many different churches and museums. Like I said, we go to the Ritz. We try to have some days where the students can do some little fun trips out and get more into Jacksonville and see what's going on. We've also done a tour of the different murals that are around Jacksonville, and that has really been a lot of fun too. And a walking tour, like I said, the only problem that we run into is sometimes we have those really hot days. I think the day that we went to the Old City Cemetery was one of like the hottest days. And I can tell you, I was a nervous wreck because I was so worried we were going to have like a student pass out. I really didn't want that. But luckily, everybody was great. They were really into it, and we had a lot of fun. As I said, building background knowledge. We do field trips, guest speakers. They also interview community members. So we'll have the Durkeeville Historical Society, the Jacksonville Historical Society. Many churches come in and they provide people to help us interview or to find areas where we can find either living members of a family that we're researching, and it is wonderful. They use primary and secondary sources. They have to their job is to create lesson plans for our students to use here in Duval. And with these lesson plans, they have to be aligned to our state standards. They have to make sure everything is cited, and they do a wonderful job. I mean, I can't give them. They write amazing lessons for this. We also bring in our local media. They come in. We've had Tanika Hughes, I believe she's been with us. Courtney Coleman, when she was here, she came in. Mark Woods from the Times. We've had other like bloggers, uh, other people that like come in and are we had a panel and our students were able to ask them questions about like interviewing skills, and they gave tips and topics, and it was just wonderful because our students really asked a lot of meaningful questions. And so it was great to have them there because as a high schooler, a 15-year-old, you might not have the confidence to ask an adult a question. Well, they gave our students a lot of tips on that. So as I said, they create a presentation, they create a lesson plan, and they have to do it with those specific steps with the bell ringer, an introduction, all of that information. I love watching their lessons that they create because one of the biggest things is they have to make sure that it all aligns to what students at that age level would want. And one group had like a video, and every 2 minutes, 3 minutes, the video would stop and have a question. And they were like, yeah, because if not, we know teenagers in our class won't pay attention if there's not some type of question or a way to check them. So it was very cute to watch them and how they presented. Um, each summer we have a principal summer institute where principals come in and they do a lot of training. We get to present in the afternoon on one of those days. So right before the students do their big community showcase, they present to all of our principals. They get to see what they're doing. We also, on the very last day of the summer program, we have a community partner showcase, and it's at Stanton High School. And so we do a big presentation, and the students can share and show off their projects. We invite community members, we invite city leaders, we invite everybody to come out and see this. They also present during teacher pre-planning week, so that the social studies teachers can see what our students have done and where they can access these lessons and so forth. Also, we have here in our district, I'm not sure if you guys know, but we do have a African American History Task Force, and the state of Florida designates certain districts as being exemplary status in African American history. And our district, Duval County, does have exemplary status, and our task force meets about every other month. And one of the things that they've been able to do is present to that. And then which led to us presenting at the state task force meeting conference a couple about 2 or 3 years ago. And it's been a wonderful opportunity for our students. And just some other things beyond just in our school district. Uh, we've had some other different like I said, we invite everybody to come out and see their lessons and their presentations, and it leads to many different things with our city council, with the historical society, 90 Forward, the West Louisville. That was an elementary here in Jacksonville, and not many people know about it. We had a group that did a project on it, and now they're helping the historical society create a historical marker for where the school was. They've also been working with the art and public places and creating murals that for different areas. Another thing, like I said, we didn't list it here. When last year, not this past year, but the last year, when the Cleveland Browns came into town to play the Jags, they wanted to learn more about our local African American history. And so our group that did the JP Small Stadium was fortunate enough to go to the stadium and share that information with the Browns. And it wasn't on the media. They didn't want any media or anything like that. So it was really great for us to be able to present to, these NFL players that didn't come from our area that wanted to learn a little bit more about our local African American history. So it was really a nice experience, especially for our students to be able to get up and share and show what they learn with others. And this is a great program. I could go on for days about this. It is one of the best things that we do during a summer, I think. But that's just personally me. And it just the amount, we have students that come back every year to do it. The past 2 years, we've actually also had student interns. So these are students that have graduated from our schools and they were participating in the program, but they come back and they work as an intern to help the teachers. And that has been amazing because it's been something that they've continued to push and to strive, and so we really love being able to see how this program grows. The first year we take about 100 students. The first year we had like right at 100. The past two we've been about 85 because we know things happen. They're teenagers. They suddenly get a job or they have something else they'd like to do, and that's perfectly fine. So we are excited to start working on this for next year, and beginning putting all these little pieces together and it to become a big, big event again. And that's all I have. Have a wonderful day. Um, my information can be found on our district website. So you can always reach out if you'd like more information about the program or our courses. I'll be social studies courses, I should say. I'll be happy to share with you and the things that we do here in Duval County.
I do have a question.
Oh, yes.
So, to find out how to register for the program, do we just go to the Duval website then? And
Yeah.
we should be able to find it?
So it's not going to be up there right now. It's gonna because we're still getting everything ready for next year. But usually about Yeah, usually about April, I want to say the mid-April, we try to get it out there for students. And then I send it to all the social studies teachers. I know we kind of push it out at all kinds of different ways. I believe on Focus, we push it out to. So there will be lots of ways. And if you don't see it, just email me and I'll be happy to share it with you.
Okay, and if so I know some children who go to charter schools, so they probably wouldn't get it from the teachers, but it'll be I could find it on the website April, May timeframe.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Any other questions?
All right, I'm not seeing any little bubbles popping up in the chat. I don't see any hands raised or anything like that. So if there's no other questions for Ms. Conklin, then I'm going to go ahead and just say thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. We appreciate your time and you being here with us for this course, and we hope to see you at another Parent Academy again soon. Have a great day, everyone.